Hello my beautiful magical beings, it is Dragon Slayer 15 here, and today guys we are going to be continuing Denki Kaminari Exec Listener Hanahaki AU, and this is Electric Love Part 2. And without further ado, let's get into this, shall we? The next 3 weeks that followed after this eventful night were by far the most painful weeks of your entire life. The flowers grew day by day, and every single time you had to cough them up, it hurt like hell. Every part of your body ached all the time, and you were weaker than you ever had been. You lost a lot of weight due to not eating very much because the flowers had started to grow up your trachea. It was hard for you to speak, but you managed. You managed even as you began to faint at least once a day, had major dizzy spells, severe headaches. And your hair began to fall out due to lack of nutrients. You managed. And even as Kaminari and Jiro went public about their relationship, and even as your heart was getting ripped out of your chest every single time you saw them together, you managed. But if there was one thing that made it better, it was the fact that Kirishima was by you all the time. He helped you in any way that he could, and you were really grateful for that. You were sitting on the rooftop at lunch. You had just finished eating and were now laying on a small bench with your head in his lap, while Kirishima sat stroking your hair. It felt good to have him close by. It was comforting knowing that he was somebody that actually cared. You heard the rooftop door open and close. You opened your eyes to see Kaminari standing in front of you. Not too close, just close enough. You sat up and looked at Kirishima for a second. His eyes were filled with hatred and disapproval. "Hey, listener, can we talk?" Denki said nervously. You agreed and stood up and followed him a little ways away from Kirishima. "Look, I've been meaning to talk to you. I'm not in love with Jiro." You stood shocked. "How? You two have been so lovey-dovey lately. How can you not be in love with her?" You said, confused. "Well, you see, I've been noticing how sick you've been, and it's starting to worry me a little bit. But that's beside the point. I've just fallen out of love with her. She wasn't the right girl for me, you know?" He said, looking back up at you. You were extremely confused. Are you sure you're okay? You've only been with this girl for about, 3 weeks? Even though you were still sick, you could still be sassy all you really wanted." "Well, yeah, but it was just something I had to try, you know? I just wanted to see if she'd actually be happy with me. And I like you a lot." You blinked. What?" You thought as you stared at him, confused. "I've liked you for a while, but I've never had the heart to tell you." Was this actually happening? Denki took your hands in his, and then pulled you close into a hug. "I love you. I always will." You pulled away from him in shock. He was confessing to you. He accepted your feelings. He loved you. "I love you too, Denki. you said, starting to tear up. You turned and looked back at Kirishima, who gave you a big smile, but you could see sadness in his eyes. Why? You heard Denki chuckle. You turned back to look at him. He was looking at you with a grin so sinister it was almost evil. What? Did I do something? You asked, confused. You heard snickering from behind you. You turned to see Jiro, phone in hand, recording you. It was fake. The confession was fake. The urge to cough had slowly built until this point. You began to hack, just ugly coughing. You began to cough so hard that you doubled over and sunk down to your hands and knees, coughing up black flowers. Not black and yellow, but black flowers, fully grown. And Kaminari just laughed at you. Kirishima ran over to Jiro, snatched the phone out of her hands, and threw it off the roof. "Hey! You jerk! That was mine!" she screamed. "You think I care?" He retaliated. But you couldn't hear what was happening. Denki grabbed your hair and yanked your head upright so you were looking at him. And he leaned in close and whispered, "What kind of an idiot do you think I am in order to fall in love with an idiot like you? You really think I care about you? Think again. You're probably the most unattractive, stupidest person I've ever met. And you don't deserve any kind of affection." That comment was the hay that broke the camel's back. Sudden anger washed over you. All of your feelings for this monster melted away. You felt a surge of energy flow through your veins, and you took a deep breath. You could breathe. The Hanahaki was gone. You activated your quirk and shot poisonous ivy vines out of your fingers. The vines leapt from your fingers and wrapped around Denki, squeezing him tight. He struggled against them. Don't struggle. It only makes them tighten, you said maniacally. You saw Jiro trying to run away, and you shot a vine out of your other hand at her, which wrapped around her leg and threw her to the ground, her face colliding with the concrete. You heard a loud snap and knew that her nose was broken. You dragged her towards you and held her up by her leg, blood streaming down her face. You looked at both of them. I never thought in my entire life that I would ever be so angry. You know what? You said, staring at them with a smile that was altogether sinister. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna teach you a lesson, you said, and began to walk slowly toward the edge of the roof, dragging the two victims with you. You elongated the vines so they stretched over the edge of the roof and held them in midair. They begged, pleaded, screamed to be put down. "Oh, you want me to put you down?" "Sure, I will." In all this chaos, Kirishima was trying to get your attention, yell at you, scream, anything to get you to snap out of this, but You didn't hear him. And frankly, it didn't matter. One by one, the vines unwrapped from your victims' bodies. One by one. And when they got to one of the final ones, Denki, crying, pleading for his life, said, "Listener, please, just put it back on the rooftop, okay? I promise I will never do it again, just please." You scoffed. You really think I'm gonna let a heartless monster like you live another day? And your accomplice? Don't make me laugh. Ta-ta, you said. The last vine unwinded. Denki and Jiro fell, screaming, until abruptly it stopped. You heard 2 loud thuds at the bottom of the building. You turned and stared at Kirishima. I did it. They're gone. Your mind was racing. What was happening to you? All you could think. Everything was coming to crashing down around you. Where was the high? Where were the good feelings? They were gone. No. You sunk to your knees, not knowing what else to do. You cupped your hands over your ears and started to scream. What had you just done? You had just murdered 2 of your classmates. Kirishima ran to you and wrapped his arms around you, but you pushed him away. Leave me alone. Get away from me. Get away from me, Kirishima. I'm a monster. You were crying, tears running down your face. You turned and ran to the edge of the roof. And you jumped off. You used your plants to break your fall. And you ran. You ran as far away as you could. You ran into an alleyway and hid in one of the corners. You knew people would come looking for you. You had to get out of there fast. You ran and found a small hotel to be in. You quickly paid for a room and sat. You didn't know what to do. You knew they would come looking for you. But what else were you to do? You had to find them. You made up your mind. You couldn't be a hero anymore. You knew that the heroes would never accept you for what you had done. But the villains might. You searched for weeks, keeping your head down low and trying to stay hidden. Soon, you accidentally stumbled across their base. It was a small refuge for you. And after several conversations with them, you were in. You were now part of their family. And guys, that is it for part 2. I'm definitely making a part 3. Don't worry about it. I love you guys so much. Please have a good day. And you know what? I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.